In India, if you buy electricity from the grid and try to sell it to your neighbor at a markup, you are breaking the law. But if you push that exact same electricity into an electric vehicle, the government classifies it as a de-licensed service. You bypass commercial electricity distribution laws entirely. This legal status allows operators to build complex commercial ecosystems around a single charging bay. The pikkstop hybrid hub utilizes this by bundling high-speed DC charging, a modernized retail kiosk, digital advertising screens, and on-site edge computing to process cloud data. Even without utility licensing, this industry operates under strict oversight. Building a multi-revenue hub requires a rigid, unskippable sequence of state approvals. The process begins by securing a commercial land lease of at least 800 square feet, completely free of zoning disputes. Securing the land is the first step, but the project cannot proceed until the operation enters the state's chronological pipeline. If you try to fast-track construction without following this specific path, the state will halt the operation before a single vehicle ever plugs in. A few years ago, securing permits meant physically visiting a dozen different local offices. Today, Maharashtra has finally consolidated that paperwork. Commercial operators now route their applications through a single centralized gateway called the MAITRI portal. Inside the portal, your first objective is clearing spatial risks. Because you are installing high-voltage battery technology next to public retail, the local municipal body must approve your civil layout to ensure heavy concrete foundations comply with zoning laws. Simultaneously, you apply for a Fire No Objection certificate, proving your charging points maintain a strict mandatory distance from combustible materials. You cannot move forward without these local approvals. Passing these physical safety checks is the absolute prerequisite for legally requesting a connection to the state's electrical grid. With the site cleared, you approach your local power distribution company, or DISCOM. Depending on your zip code, this could be Tata Power, Adani, or MSEDCL. You apply for a dedicated EV meter to qualify for Maharashtra's heavily subsidized commercial EV tariff, which lowers your operating costs. This triggers a technical sequence. A DISCOM engineer visits your site to verify the local grid can handle your requested load. Upon a successful survey, they sign off on a technical document called the A1 form. You submit that form back into the system, pay the generated demand note for infrastructure costs, and they install your meter. You still cannot power the site. First, you must bring in the chief electrical inspector to government. This inspector physically visits the site to verify your single line diagram, your earthing systems, and your overcurrent protections. If the safety mechanisms meet the code, they issue your final operating clearance. You can install the most advanced fast charging equipment in the world on your lot, but until this engineering and safety sequence is completed, your hardware remains legally dead. Once power is flowing, the hardware requires an active link to a charge management system, the cloud software running your business operations, connected via a 4G M2M SIM card. The universal open-source language that allows your physical charger and this cloud software to communicate is called OCPP. Over this connection, your charger sends a constant digital heartbeat up to the cloud server, letting the network know it is online. When a driver plugs in, the CMS authenticates the user, monitors the live electricity flow, and checks the hardware for faults. Once the session ends, the software charges the user's digital wallet and automatically splits the revenue, according to your franchise terms, routing your cut directly to your bank account. Because OCPP is an open standard, you avoid corporate lock-in. If your software provider raises their fees, you simply point your hardware to a different network, retaining total control over your digital ecosystem and revenue. While the station is active and the software is processing payments, the operator can apply for state capital incentives through the EV incentive portal. The state requires hard proof of compliance. You must upload a declaration of your commercial operation date, safety testing certificates from agencies like ARAI or BIS, and the first live electricity bill from your new dedicated EV meter. This verified data triggers the release of capital subsidies under the state EV policy. The nodal agency verifies the documents and credits funds directly to your registered corporate account to offset your equipment costs. You face one final compliance hurdle. The federal government requires all public charging networks to be easily discoverable by drivers. You must ensure your CMS software is directly linked into the Ministry of Power's central EV Yatra portal. This back-end integration populates your location on consumer maps across the country, transforming an isolated piece of electrical hardware into a visible, automated node on the national grid. In the span of a few months, you secure a vacant plot of commercial land, clear municipal zoning requirements, wire a high-voltage grid connection, and link an AI-driven software backend to an open-source network. Executing this requires coordinating commercial real estate law, high-voltage civil engineering, and decentralized cloud networking all at once. The bureaucratic pipeline is dense and sequential. By following Maharashtra's blueprint, you can navigate the red tape and transform an empty patch of dirt into a self-sustaining asset.